Evil. A word that sends shivers down our spines. We recoil from it, yet we are strangely drawn to it. But what is evil? Is it an inherent trait possessed by a select few? Or does it lurk within us all, waiting for the right moment to emerge? This essay delves into the chilling reality that ordinary people are capable of horrific acts. We will explore the Stanford Prison Experiment, a controversial study that exposed the dark side of human nature. We will also examine Hannah Arendt's theory of the banality of evil, developed after observing the trial of Adolf Eichmann, a key figure in the Holocaust. The journey ahead is not for the faint of heart. Welcome back, everyone. This is your host, Sylvia, and I'm aware that you have joined Baz and myself on different occasions to discuss the banality of evil with Hannah Arendt, and also the episode with Stanley Milgram, who was influenced by Arendt's discovery during the Eichmann trial. But today, we will view a different lens that will cover a different angle. But yet, and still, expose how ordinary people can commit dark acts of evil without even really being self-conscious of it. So buckle up. In the summer of 1971, a chilling experiment unfolded in the basement of Stanford University's psychology department. Led by psychologist Philip Zimbardo, the Stanford Prison Experiment aimed to investigate the psychological effects of power, authority, and identity. Zimbardo and his team recruited 24 male college students, deemed psychologically healthy and stable. The participants were randomly assigned to play the roles of either guards or prisoners. The guards, outfitted in khaki uniforms and reflective sunglasses, were instructed to maintain order and control over the prisoners. The prisoners, on the other hand, were stripped of their identities, given numbers instead of names, and forced to wear humiliating smocks. The guards, emboldened by their newfound authority, quickly embraced their roles with unsettling enthusiasm. They devised increasingly cruel and degrading punishments for the prisoners, subjecting them to verbal abuse, sleep deprivation, and forced sanitation duty. The transformation of the participants was perhaps the most disturbing aspect of the Stanford Prison Experiment. The guards, initially ordinary college students, became increasingly sadistic and authoritarian. They seemed to relish their power over the prisoners, deriving pleasure from their suffering. The prisoners, subjected to relentless psychological torment, began to exhibit signs of extreme stress, anxiety, and depression. Some prisoners broke down emotionally, while others became withdrawn and apathetic. The experiment, initially slated to last 2 weeks, was abruptly halted after just 6 days due to the alarming deterioration of the participants' mental states. The Stanford Prison Experiment revealed the chilling ease with which ordinary people can succumb to the corrupting influence of power. It demonstrated that situational factors, rather than inherent personality traits, can play a significant role in shaping our behavior. As the Stanford Prison Experiment progressed, the lines between reality and simulation blurred. The guards, intoxicated by their power, became increasingly abusive. They subjected the prisoners to forced exercise, solitary confinement, and humiliating rituals designed to break their spirits. One prisoner, identified only as number 8612, experienced a complete emotional breakdown. Despite his deteriorating mental state, the guards initially dismissed his behavior as a ploy for attention. It was only after Zimbardo's girlfriend, Christina Maslach, visited the prison and was horrified by what she witnessed that the experiment was finally halted. The Stanford Prison Experiment revealed the dangers of unchecked authority and the ease with which seemingly normal people can be corrupted by power. It showed that situations can exert a powerful influence on our behavior, often overriding our personal values and beliefs. 10 years earlier, in 1961, a political theorist named Hannah Arendt traveled to Jerusalem to cover the trial of Adolf Eichmann, a high-ranking Nazi official who played a key role in the Holocaust. Arendt expected to encounter a monster, a man consumed by hatred and driven by an insatiable thirst for blood. What she found instead was something far more unsettling, a seemingly ordinary bureaucrat who claimed he was simply following orders. Arendt's observations of Eichmann led her to coin the phrase, the banality of evil. She argued that evil is not always perpetrated by fanatical ideologues or sadistic psychopaths, but can be committed by ordinary people who rationalize their behavior and distance themselves from the consequences of their deeds. Adolf Eichmann was a high-ranking Nazi official. He was responsible for organizing the transportation of millions of Jews to concentration and extermination camps. After the war, Eichmann escaped to Argentina, where he lived under an assumed identity for several years. In 1960, Eichmann was captured by Israeli agents and brought to Jerusalem to stand trial for his crimes. The trial, which was televised and broadcast worldwide, captivated the world's attention. However, those who came face to face with Eichmann were struck by his ordinariness. He appeared to be a bland bureaucrat, more concerned with following orders than with the suffering he was inflicting. Hannah Arendt's analysis of Adolf Eichmann highlighted the role of bureaucracy and conformity in facilitating evil. She argued that the Nazi regime was able to carry out its genocidal policies in part because it created a system in which individuals were encouraged to follow orders without question and to abdicate their own moral judgment. Arendt believed that bureaucracy creates a distance between individuals and the consequences of their actions. When people are reduced to cogs in a machine, they are less likely to feel personally responsible for the outcomes of their work, even if those outcomes are horrific. Conformity also plays a role in facilitating evil. When everyone around us is engaging in unethical or immoral behavior, it can be difficult to resist the pressure to conform. The Stanford Prison Experiment and Hannah Arendt's theory of evil offer complementary perspectives on the psychology of evil. Zimbardo's experiment demonstrated the power of situational factors to shape our behavior, while Arendt's analysis of Adolf Eichmann highlighted the role of bureaucracy, conformity, and the abdication of moral responsibility in facilitating evil. Both Zimbardo and Arendt challenged the notion that evil is an inherent trait possessed by a select few. They argued that ordinary people are capable of horrific acts when placed in certain situations, or when they are able to rationalize their behavior and distance themselves from the consequences of their actions. Despite their differences, both perspectives point to the unsettling conclusion that evil is not something that is alien to us, but rather something that resides within us all. The Stanford Prison Experiment and Hannah Arendt's analysis of Adolf Eichmann both highlight the power of the situation to shape our behavior. Zimbardo's experiment showed how easily ordinary people can be corrupted by power and authority, while Arendt's work demonstrated how bureaucracy and conformity can lead individuals to abdicate their moral responsibility and participate in horrific acts. These findings suggest that evil is not always the result of inherent wickedness or malice, but can also be the product of situational factors that can lead otherwise good people to do terrible things. This is not to say that individuals are not responsible for their actions. We all have a choice in how we respond to the situations we find ourselves in. Understanding the power of the situation is essential for preventing evil. The Stanford Prison Experiment and Arendt's banality of evil offer sobering lessons about the fragility of human nature. They remind us that the line between good and evil is not as clear-cut as we might like to believe, and that even ordinary people are capable of great cruelty under the right circumstances. These findings challenge us to examine our own beliefs about good and evil, and to confront the potential for darkness that resides within us all. However, these lessons should not lead us to despair. Rather, they should inspire us to be more vigilant in guarding against the forces that can lead to evil. We must be willing to speak out against injustice, to challenge harmful norms, and to resist the pressure to conform. Can we prevent evil? The Stanford Prison Experiment and Hannah Arendt's theory of the banality of evil raise a profound and unsettling question. Can we prevent evil? Human nature is complex, and the factors that contribute to evil are multifaceted and often difficult to predict. However, this does not mean that we are powerless in the face of evil. While we may never be able to eradicate it completely, we can take steps to mitigate its impact and create a more just and compassionate world. Education is key. We must teach our children about the dangers of prejudice, discrimination, and blind obedience to authority. We must encourage critical thinking, empathy, and moral courage. The fight against evil is a never-ending battle, but it is a battle worth fighting. We look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Until next time, this is Sylvia signing off. And don't forget, take care of yourselves and each other.